Hi guys, Gaming Bear here. Right, we're looking at the AMX 65T, 65-ton tank, which is the new French line, which is coming in. So you can see coming up here, AMX 65, then we go to the M451 at tier 9, and the AMX M454 at tier 10. So it all branches off from the M445, going up this way to the 65-ton, and the other side to the 5100. So let's go and have a look at some comparisons of these tier rates. So see exactly where we are. Let's have a look at the overall numbers. So top is the Tiger. So let's have a look at basic firepower. How does this compare? So initially penetration is a big factor. So we're looking identical penetration to the 5100, which is really nice, which is the top of all of them. Just behind that is the E5, which is running 230. So it's pretty much at the top of well, it is at the top of everything. So that's a really nice starting factor with a average hit points of damage per shot of 300. Nice, not the smallest, but not the biggest of shells. Now, we're looking then at the aiming time, really. So you've got great penetration. Now let's look at the aiming. Aiming, 0.33 seconds. The best is actually the Tiger 2. So this could well be why the Tiger 2 comes out with such good numbers. So we're looking aiming dispersion at 100 meters, which is 0.33 compared to the 0.28 of the Tiger 2. So you're thinking, okay, accuracy isn't that great in comparison, but if you compare it to the IS3, which is 0.38, you can see it's 0.05 of a second faster. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in comparison, it's about 18% faster. 18% faster at aiming than the IS3. It's even faster by 0.2 than the 5100, which is actually quite stupendous. So it's really nice to have that 0.33. It's one of the best. Well, it's actually the second best in the tier of this list, behind the Tiger 2. We then come to the aim time. It's 2.88 seconds. It's really a bit slow, but if you compare it again to the IS3, which is 3.19 seconds, so you can see it's better than the IS3. And I'm thinking that you should be trying to use this in a similar way. Get the shots in, use the accuracy, pull off the shot, pull back before he's reloaded. You can actually fire one shot, and depends whether he pulls back or whether you can get the second shot in. So then potentially, if he's done 390 points to you, if you can get the second shot in, you've done 600 points compared to 390. You pull away giggling, and we'll have a look at that in a bit with the power to weight and the maneuverability and the armouring, and seeing how that actually works. We then come to the likes of the Defender. Dispersion 0.41. It works really close up, and with an aim time of 3 seconds, it's, well, let's just say it needs to be close up to do the 440 points of damage. I could go into more figures, but these are pretty good details about how it actually runs. Now we're looking then at the firepower. So 2019, it's 300 more than the 5100. So that in itself is really nice to have that ability of the additional 15%. So very nice. But in comparison to a number of the others, it's sort of middling to low. Whereas you're looking the best of the OHO of 2500. A lot of them around about 2,200 to 2,300, like the T34, like T32, and the FCM 50T, which is 2,270. So you can see that it's a little bit low, but not the worst. So that's the firepower. So it's got a very punchy gun, okay aiming time, better than the 5100, which isn't bad at all. We then come, so I wanted to look at the mobility. How does it actually rate? Because if you're moving up to fire the gun, battling against IS3s and Defenders, you want to be able to maneuver to try and take advantage of things. So we're looking 17.08 horsepower per ton. Better than the 5100, which is pretty nice, you know, and it's only 1.2 or 1.15 worse than the FCM, which is blinking fast. In comparison to the IS3, it's around about 4 horsepower per tonne better. Now you're thinking, okay, well I can sort of see where this works. Good accuracy, relatively good manoeuvrability because of the horsepower per tonne. So that's the IS3 out of the way. Now let's compare it to the T32. T32, you're looking for 3.3 horsepower per tonne better. The E5 it's still 2 horsepower per tonne better than that, and the OHO would just be left for dust. That's 7 and a bit horsepower per tonne better. So you know, very, very nice. Reversing 15 kilometers an hour. It's not the fastest, but there are many most are slower or the same speed. We're looking 2 which are faster, which is the 5100 and the FCM. So it's 2 stablemates are faster going backwards, but leads me to believe this doesn't need to run away so much. So that's what we're sort of looking at. And then forwards, it's got 40 kmh compared to its stablemates, which are 51. So 40 kmh forwards, only bettered by the E5 with 40.2, which only just beats it. But horsepower per tonne, you've still got those 2 horsepower per tonne to get you up to that speed on different terrains better. So the others, like the OHO is 25, then most of the others, well, half of the others coming in at 35, like the T32 and the Defender. The Tiger and the IS3 both get up to 38, so still 2 kmh below. And then you've got the issues with the horsepower per tonne. I hadn't said about the Tiger. It's running 9.79. It's actually the worst of the bunch. So it's even behind horsepower per tonne. It's worse than the OHO. So yeah. So you've got a relatively good horsepower per tonne, a good gun. So what is the survival? It's got to have something that goes against it. Now let's have a look at the survivability. So you're looking hull armour 100mm, but it's more angled and sloped. Pike nose, very much like the IS3. The IS3 is 110mm on the front, compared to this having 100mm at the front, 80 at the sides, 60 at the rear. The IS3, which is always good to compare to, 110 at the front, 90 at the sides, 60 at the rear, similarly. Okay, then we come to the turret armour. 250 on the front, absolutely badass. As much armour on the front as the IS3. Well, it's actually one point more. So, you know, really can't fault it. It just comes down to the angling and the sloping. But 250mm of armour, very, very good. So, we know the mobility is good. The armour is very nice as well. Now, I'll try and call up some details so we can have a look at the armour profile. Let's have a look at concealment before we get to that. So, concealment, 3.75. It's not, basically, I would say it's too big to hide. The only thing that's worse than this is the OHO, which is huge. So basically, don't even think about hiding it. They're going to spot it. So don't even fret about it, because just presume that everyone sees you. We then come to the view range. Now it's looking at what can it do from range. Now this is a bit of an issue. Standard view range 370 meters. It's abysmal. Good gun, awful view range. Signal range similar to everything else, but the view range is awful, absolutely awful at 370. It's the worst of the bunch. So this is something you've got to take serious account of. Either get close, even if you put binoculars on, well, you'd bump it up by 25%, and that's maybe what I would suggest. You can go for optics, but then that'll only bump it up to about 410 meters, and you want to have over 425 if you can do it. So the view range we now know is a bit of an issue. So let's go back and we'll have a look at the armor. So you can see the angling and sloping on this. It's very nice. It looks very Chinese, but you can see by the size of this, it's huge, and that's why it can't hide. The The hull looks very... It's an interesting combination of the earlier AMX design with this very, very interesting and very tough turret. So let's go and have a look at that armour. Okay, looking at the armour from the front on the same level, we are looking... The front goes to about 100, just under 160 points. So depending on the slight angling. The lower plate goes to 205, 110 mil of armour, which is nice, at 57 degrees. The front armour is 100 mil at 50.2 degrees. So that's very nice. Now, looking at the turret, 220 mil up here at 26 degrees, so effectively 246, so not quite up to what we were hoping for. Underneath, we are looking at 240 effective, but then we're looking down here. It's only effectively 180 mil because of the angling. It's 80 mil of armour, 80 mil of armour here, but sloped at 70 degrees, up to 70 degrees, and equating to about 100, just under 180 degrees. If you're looking over a hill, then let's have a look at the angles. Bear with me. So firing over like that, the angle this then becomes effectively 240, and it will bounce the shots. So 240-ish mil. The upper part goes to about 200, just under 270. We then look at the gun mantlet. 250, 260, 270, almost 280. The sides, we're looking here, just under 260, so very nice. Up above, you've got the command cupola, which is 220, so it is a weak spot. Big weak spot, so that's something to watch out for. But this area, depending on the angles, could be weak, so it depends what you're shown. The command cupola the other side, 221, but very small target. If you've got two cupolas to shoot at this one here. The lower plate, as he's aiming over, goes to 190 mil. This is the weakest area. If you can shoot the front of the hull, you will get through. At this angle, the lower plate goes to 167, but if he's aiming over a hill and he's showing you all of his tank, then he deserves to be penetrated. Angle to the side. You're looking, let's go to the live, so you can see the angles change of it. If he's turned the side armour to you, it goes down to about 160. The other effective angle goes to 305. The side goes to 211. So from the front, you could you won't get through this ricochet zone. The sides, if you can get the sides of this, that 100 mil of armour. 160, good angling and sloping, where you're looking between about 190 and 205 or so mil of armour. This is another weak spot if you can get the side. Working your way around the side, see a 93 mil there. So you're looking less than 100 mil. The track area, you're looking 86. 60 mil of armour behind the tracks. Following it round, the rear 60 mil sloped angles. The turret goes up to a whole 69, almost 70 mil. Let's just say the rear and sides are pants, but from the front it's not too bad, depending on what you can see from where. So aiming over a ridge, you can see the armour becomes pretty good, and I would say at this point you then move your gun up in front, waggle in between shots, stop them aiming at your weak spot. So let's go to that. Just waggle the gun up in front to allow you to protect your weak spots. Now let's go back and have a look at the stats. Now, strong tank at this level. Let's compare it to an IS-3. Always a good one. So let's do the comparison between that and the IS-3. So DPM, let's make sure we've got the right gun, 120 mil. Yeah, so there's only about there's 11 difference, which is nothing. Damage per shot, you've got 10 more. Penetration, it shows that it's lower. We were looking at the penetration earlier. I think there's something wrong with these stats. So this is a pre-release build, and what we saw with this, oh, this is the bigger gun, not the 100mm. Yes, the 100mm has got that 230mm. Sorry, my bad. Yes, the tier 9 gun has got this penetration. So let's reorganize the comparison with the IS-3 again. Sorry, that threw me for a second. So then let's go back to the stats. So you can see the dispersion and aim time are better. On the move, the dispersion gets worse by 0.05. Traversing gets worse by 0.05. And it basically doubles when you're traversing the turret. So watch out for traversing the turret. Moving from side to side is an issue. Shell velocity is 16 meters a second more, so 1067. So it's a faster shot to target, so more accurate than the IS-3, but only a little bit. We then come to the ammo capacity, 40 rounds of ammo. So you can potentially do 16,000 points of damage, which is a huge amount of damage, but it's such a huge tank, that's why you can't hide it. And it's got a lot of shells in it. So 16,000 damage you could potentially do. Now this is very interesting. The effective traverse is better than the IS-3. So 36.3 compared to 33.4. So you're around about 3 degrees a second on hard terrain, better than the IS-3. On medium terrain, you're 32, so you're roughly 8.5 degrees a second faster than the IS-3. These look really, really good. And on soft, you're looking 23 degrees a second compared to 16. So it's much better at working its way, traversing around on different terrains than the IS-3. We then come to the terrain resistance. Hard terrain, it's worse. So the soft stats, the hidden stats underneath, show that it's almost double the terrain resistance on hard terrain. So hidden stats like this, and then it's 0.4 worse on medium. On soft terrain, it's about 20% worse than the IS-3. Okay, so these stats start to make you think, okay, well, this may not be quite as good going up hills and manoeuvring around as you first thought, which is why you need that additional few horsepower per ton. So that's interesting to know. We then come to the gun elevation. Only 13 degrees of gun elevation, which is 10 degrees less than the IS-3, which is awful. It's awful in comparison to the IS-3, and that's, we then come to the gun depression. You've got 8 degrees of gun depression compared to 5 degrees with the Russian, which is, so this is designed for working down hills. Basically, if you're firing up, you're weakening all of your armour, so they've possibly designed it this way so that if you're stupid enough to be firing up at a hill, you're going to get wrecked, and for you to know not to fire up on hills, otherwise you are in so much trouble. Health, 1550, so it's 50 more hit points than the IS-3. We then come to the track health, ammo rack, the repairing. All of these are substantially better than the IS-3. It's built incredibly strongly, and the weight 65 up to 72 tons. So if we're looking, it's about 6 tons more than an IS-3. Then you come to the chance of fire. It's, if you can penetrate it, basically there's a 20% instead of the 12% chance that the IS-3's got. So you can see that it's if you can get round the side of it, you can penetrate it, but potentially you're able to do a lot in the battlefield. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a basic setup in on this. So let's go in. What I'd say you need. Let's go for gun rammer to start. We will need something to boost. Now, the vert stabs, I've got a feeling that would be useful, but I'm going to go for the improved vent to improve all of the crew. It's a tricky thing, but I prefer to boost all of the stats of the crew, which enhances everything. So yeah, it's a tricky situation. So we're now up to 378. We've gained 8 meters of view range. Now I'll show you. I'm going to put in a let's have a look, the coated optics, but I'm not going to leave them on. I'll just show you what this does. So it puts it up to 416 meters, which may be okay. I'll take it out first, and we'll see whether the 416 meters is good enough. We'll put the basic equipment on. Let's grab a little bit of premium as well. Let's get a few rounds of HE as well. That'll do. I wasn't able to put. I've tried to put on a premium account. Haven't been able to. So let's go for a repair kit, first aid kit, and fire extinguisher. Just get those sorted, and then we'll get into a first match and test this out. I'll put some camo on so we can see what options this is good. It'll be the standard French camo. Okay, we'll go with that. Why not? And then last, yeah, that works. Okay, we'll give that a run. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into first game. That's all kitted up. I'm going to pause this until we get in, and we'll see just what it can do. Okay, we're getting in. What are we facing? A few 65 tons, FCM, IS-6s. Yep, T-28s, nice. VK, yep, looking good. The AT-15. They're buffing the British ATs as well, so that's something you've got to bear in mind, that there will be some changes. Now, so we're on the south side. The trees have been changed. I like the way the graphics are looking. So what I'm going to do is move up towards G3. You want to be working ridges with this. So we'll see what the mobility's like. See if the true figures and that additional 4 horsepower per ton actually figures, and what's it really like. Feels a little bit sluggish. We're up to 23 already. 24. So we'll see what we can do. Got a few people coming with us. Let's oh, yep. He's aiming at teammates. Always good with the when that happens. So there's no RT, which is nice. You can hear that guy just firing in the background. Oh, don't you love it when the noobs get the tanks? Oh, look, he's gone blue already. Yeah, let's just say it's not going to be a proper game. We're just going to test out a few mechanics. I don't expect to win from this position based on that. So let's see what we can see. Everybody's come this way. So let's get into position, see what we can do. I presume that not all of their team have done the same thing. The gun depression doesn't feel too bad. It bounced, but it felt quite accurate. So let's see what else we can do. Try and get a side shot. Where's he? Shot me. Oh, straight through the weak spot. Yeah, you can see. So yes, it is a weak spot. So see what we can do. Are they all over that way now? Can we get something in on the side? That should be about it. No. Okay, so you do need, when you're laid up, I would say to be able to spot those guys, you do need to have the binoculars. So let's go in with our buddy. Go and assist. Try and get out of the range of those guys who are potentially watching, and see what this is like in these sort of situations. I don't want to take shots at the CDC coming in and helping him out. My buddy's going. Almost there, buddy. He's gone. Shucks. Mobility feels okay. Now, this I want to push it in, try and do what I can do, see what we can see, make the most of the optics. Blinking things. Not a lot you could do then. And I'm just going to report that guy from the EU. Complain. Unsportsmanlike conduct. So, the mobility feels... It feels adequate, a little bit better than your normal heavy. You don't fit if you're in an IS-3. You don't feel worried about your upper and lower plates because you're in an IS-3. This feels vulnerable. The turret itself is relatively good, apart from the weak spot on top. So you're really quite vulnerable. Now I would say that you want to have the middle gun, not this big booming gun, to be able to get more shots off. If I could have potentially had that additional damage, then I would say that this could be better. So bear with me, and we'll have a look at the post game and then do those changes. Okay, let's have a look. So 13,000 credits. How do we do? Over 1,000 points. So yeah, it would have been nice to have been able to do more. But if I can start doing as close to 1,000, 1,500 in all of these reviews, so you can get an idea of what the tanks actually come away with credit-wise. So, if you'd had premium, would have made 4,000 credits. So normally I do. Otherwise, in this case, you lose 3,000. 5 shots, 4 hit, 3 penetrated. So the armour is a bit iffy. The gun penetration at range wasn't quite able to get through, even though we had a couple of good side shots that maybe the medium range gun would have actually made. So we'll change to the 10 centimeter, get some ammo in. That'll do, and then with a few armor piercing. That looks good. So we'll go with that. 97,000 credits to kit it out. And one more change. We'll change put in the binoculars, demount the optics, and that's all I think we need to do. Now, potentially, as the turret is so bad anyway, to have better characteristics, you lose a bit of traverse speed, bit of view range. But let's check what this is like with with those changes. Now, view range 447. I've got a feeling. Let's see how many we actually can load in. So, you've dropped 15 rounds by changing the turret, but you've got more armor. So it's an interesting situation. Let's go for a few more standard. Let's try and put in about 10. There we go. Add some more standard. So we'll run with that. So you've got the option. So we know what the other turret is like. It's weaker on the side. The additional 120, the additional armor on the side of this, 80 mil from the 60, may make a difference. losing that view range, is it worth it? So 440 meters view range with this. We know what we're gaining or losing. So this is going to be the intermediate stage, and we'll see what this is like. So let's get in and see what this battle's like. Okay, it's a tier 10 game. It couldn't be any worse, but it'll show what this gun is actually like. So we'll try a bit of sniping. Now you can see our opposite number over here with the big boy turret. But that makes it well. It means that we've got that smaller weak spot, so it's not so easy for them to shoot. So that's one additional thing. Not just as the armor's better, but you've got smaller weak spots for the enemy to shoot. So that is quite nice. And let's have a look. Oops, sorry, buddy. Always let a lurver go through. Now you can see the aiming seems a lot faster. Will we be able to get up to the hill in time? I don't think so. So I'm going to move over, get into a defensive position, act like a medium. Watch out for the WZ. Go and help our bat chat. I was hoping it would feel more mobile with the change of turret, but it doesn't seem so. We'll check the way to the turrets when we get back out. That could be one thing they've done, is change it from this heavier turret to a lighter turret. And his shot's on. At least got the E100 doing a good defensive job up there. Right, well I'm going to go and back up that light tank. So get over. Try and stay out of the view range of the FV. It's looking good. And his shot's up. Okay, let's move over. I thought he'd seen me. I was time to. Oh, great. Let's repair. And we'll have a look to see where that went through. A standard AP round straight through the front plate. Like I said, the front plate, no matter what you do, is going to be bad. I was about to say, can we get a shot in on the IS-7? Is it, little dude? You spot. Let me know what you see. Okay, wait for the binoculars to kick in. He's going that way. Let's get into a position to assist. Oh heck, I've inadvertently gone for APCR. I didn't mean to. I'd prefer not to use premium ammo for things like this, so let's just move in, see what this is like. Oh, we've got another. Oh, that's nice. Hit the track, and it's able to. So that additional armor on the side is able to. Let's fix that. It's very tanky. The side is very tough. Yes, he gets in, shot in, but we'll soon be there to deal with him. eventually. The side is tougher than I thought it would be. Well, I thought it'd be good, but it's not. The side is nice. The front is weak, but the side is better. So we'll have a look at the weight of the turret in a minute to see what the effects are of that. But that felt better. You're a little bit slower, so I've got a feeling the turret itself is actually is weaker. So 8,000 credits, no damage, but I think it was a good showing for it. So yeah, lost 36. We would have lost 32, but that was all of that was the 40,000 we spent on having to repair and get the crew back. So if we didn't have to do that, we would have made 8,000 or so. So let's have a look. All in all, so let's have a look at the weight of the turret. So weight 18 tons compared to 16. It's lower, right? So this top turret is 2 tons more. It means you get seen and spotted more easily, but it weighs more, so it's more difficult to get around. You've got a little bit more view range, so it's the balance of whether you want that little bit more mobility, or you want let's check the angle dangle with the gun. So mine's 8 and 13. Let's put the other turret on. Mine is 10 and 20. So having this turret allows you to get 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 degrees of gun elevation. For me, this is the best turret for the combination of being lighter and those additional angles. So, plus you then haven't got the huge cupola on the other side. That's just my idea. Put in the comments what you think. But I would say that this gun, once you've got it rocking and rolling, is the best one of the two. Be able to use those ridges, hide your front plate. The sides with this 80mm of armour is very nice, and the 120mm on the side of the turret is very, very useful. So without further ado, let me just call up the details on this turret so we can have a look at the armour so you can see exactly what you're getting. Okay, looking at the armour, you can see the huge bulbous additional point up top. Now if we swap down, there we go, you can see nothing up in this section. Smaller turret, but you're looking 60mm of armour. It's a smaller target to try and block with your gun, but then you've got those huge additional angles that you can aim up and down with. So, and then the front of the armour, you're looking effectively, you saw 300 odd mil then. The front of this 290, working your way through 280, up above 400, 470. There's a weak spot there, which is the square plate 250, very flat. The rest of it, oh, there's a weak spot underneath the barrel. Here, you got to watch out for. But really, if they want to shoot something weak, they're going to shoot down underneath in the hole. Now the sides, as we saw, effectively 300mm, and that was what he was bouncing on every time. So yeah, very, very neat. The sides of this, even if you're angling just slightly off, you're still looking 320-ish mil of armour. Few tons additional, less weight, so you've got more mobility. The roof can potentially, well, 60mm of armour, so it's not easily going to be overmatched by the smaller calibers, but it's a thinner target, so we'll see what happens. It depends. I would personally would be happier with the additional armour on the sides, so that if they try and penetrate, you can see effectively 240mm. Let's change the turret over. 200mm, 210, so 200 there. So you can, I would say, really, I wouldn't want the other. I wouldn't want this turret of the two. For the weight, the effectiveness, the only thing you're really losing is the extra view range, and that depends on your playstyle, how it works, and what you're going to be doing with it. So let's have a last look at the tank. So this is my personal setup for the tank. And because of the view range, binoculars would be better with this setup. I like the way this feels. I put in the comments what you think. That's all I can think. But at the moment, the balancing, the money-making aspect of it doesn't seem the greatest. But then I haven't been able to shoot a lot. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm the Gaming Bear, and I will see you all very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.